The Wild West, a time of lawlessness, opportunity, and expansion. But behind the scenes of the American frontier, there was a secret force operating in the shadows, the Pinkerton National Detective Agency. These agents weren't your ordinary lawmen. They were private investigators, spies, and enforcers for the rich and powerful. But were they heroes of order or instruments of oppression? Founded in 1850 by Allan Pinkerton, a Scottish immigrant, the agency quickly gained a reputation for its ruthless efficiency. Originally, their focus was preventing counterfeit currency and protecting railroad interests. But as America expanded westward, so did the Pinkertons' influence. During the Manifest Destiny era, the Pinkertons became the go-to force for wealthy industrialists and railroad tycoons. They provided services that local law enforcement simply couldn't handle: intelligence gathering, surveillance, and even sabotage against competitors. Their motto: "We never sleep." And with their famous eye logo, they embodied secrecy and vigilance. The agency's influence extended beyond crime fighting. They also played a role in protecting political figures and high-profile personalities. As their reputation grew, their services were sought after by those in power who needed discreet investigations and reliable protection. However, their increasing involvement in political affairs led to suspicions that they were being used as pawns by influential figures to silence opposition and maintain control over expanding territories. The Pinkertons are best known for tracking down some of the Wild West's most notorious criminals, including Jesse James and the infamous Wild Bunch. Unlike traditional sheriffs and marshals, Pinkerton agents used sophisticated undercover tactics, infiltrating outlaw gangs to gather intel and strike when the time was right. But their methods were often ruthless. They weren't bound by the same rules as government lawmen, which meant they could use deception, bribery, and brute force to accomplish their goals. The hunt for Jesse James, for example, led to violent shootouts and even civilian casualties, raising questions about their methods. Their relentless pursuit of outlaws showcased their dedication to maintaining law and order, but it also highlighted their disregard for collateral damage. Some critics argue that their heavy-handed approach often led to unnecessary bloodshed, while supporters maintain that such measures were essential in a time of rampant crime and lawlessness. While they were hunting outlaws, the Pinkertons were also waging war against labor unions. As America industrialized, tensions between workers and business owners escalated. Strikes became common, and the Pinkertons were hired to break them, often with brutal force. One of the most infamous incidents was the Homestead Strike of 1892. Steel workers demanding fair wages clashed with Pinkerton agents hired by Andrew Carnegie's company. The confrontation turned deadly, with gunfire erupting and lives lost. This cemented the Pinkertons' reputation as hired muscle for the wealthy elite, willing to crush workers' rights to maintain order. Their involvement in labor disputes marked a turning point in their public perception. The once respected detectives were now seen as mercenaries for the rich, willing to use intimidation tactics and violence to suppress worker movements. This led to growing resentment and calls for greater regulation of private security forces. Despite their controversial history, the Pinkertons left a lasting impact on law enforcement and private security. Their tactics influenced modern intelligence agencies and corporate security forces. Even today, Pinkerton Consulting and Investigation still operates, providing security services worldwide. Over the years, the Pinkertons evolved from a feared private police force to a legitimate security organization with a focus on corporate protection, risk management, and investigations. However, their past actions continue to shape public perception, with many questioning whether such private forces should wield so much power without oversight. But their legacy raises important questions. Were they a necessary force to bring order to the lawless frontier, or were they an early example of private power overreaching into public life? The debate continues. The Pinkerton National Detective Agency was more than just a private security force. They were a symbol of an era where power, wealth, and law clashed on the frontier. Whether they were heroes or villains depends on who you ask. But one thing's for sure, they were always watching.